Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the session on Pitching Like a Pro. My name is Ellen Fishett, and I'm going to take you through a few slides on how to tell the best possible story that you can about your business and make lots of sales. At the end of this bootcamp, you will be asked to prepare a pitch deck. So this session is taking you through the key elements that you need to have within your pitch deck. So let's get on with this session. What will you learn in this session? First of all, I'm going to explain what a pitch deck is. Then we're going to tackle your problem statement. We're going to look at your solution, and then we're going to talk about what your business model is. Although we're all in social businesses, it's important to know what other businesses are doing. And in for-profit businesses, we're talking about your competitors. After that, it's very important that you can tell everyone that's listening to your story what your unique value proposition is. And then, of course, tell the world about the team, who's involved, who makes all of this magic. And if you have any milestones to share, any successes, then you also want to add this to your pitch deck. So, what is a pitch deck? It's a term that you actually often hear with tech companies. They talk about a pitch deck. For companies that are not in technology, you often hear people ask, or potential customers ask, to share your company profile. So a pitch deck is no different than your company profile. It basically tells a story about your business. And although we're in social business and people don't always like to talk about money and selling, I think we're all selling something at some point. We also all have a personal pitch. So you're either trying to convince a colleague about something, you're selling your services, who you are as a person. Maybe you're even trying to convince someone in your family of why you should choose a certain destination for a holiday or where you should go and eat. So all of us are constantly actually pitching, selling ourselves. Some of you will also have heard of an elevator pitch. It's a term that's used often. They say that most elevator, or when you travel in a lift, as we say in South Africa, it usually takes about 30 seconds. So investors say that if you are very clear on your business, you need to be able to explain to someone else in a lift within 30 seconds what your business does. That will spark enough interest for them to hear more, ask for your business card, or ask you questions. Startups in technology talk about pitching all the time because that's what they do. They're trying to sell their ideas, and most of the time they're also trying to get investment. And then lastly, we talk about an investor pitch. All of these pitches have this, all of these different pitches that I'm sharing with you have the same elements. They all tell the story about your business, but there may be a different outcome. You may not be trying to attract investment, but maybe you're trying to get a store owner to put your product in their shop. Maybe you're trying to collaborate with someone, so you will have a different reason why you pitch. Moving on. The most important way to start your pitch, your presentation, is to talk about the problem that you are addressing. So it's most important that you explain what problem exactly you are solving. And what I find very helpful when entrepreneurs pitch is usually if they have a personal connection to the problem that they're trying to address. So sometimes we will have experienced problems, maybe either health problems or food insecurity or problems because of unemployment. And when we come up as entrepreneurs with these solutions, then it's usually in response to a problem we've experienced. If you have a personal connection to the problem that you're trying to solve, it's always good to share this with the audience. Getting back to the problem statement. So again, what problem are you trying to solve? And then be very specific about who is experiencing this problem and where this problem happens. investors, people also like to know, how huge is this problem? Is it worth my investment? Should we give them a grant? Should we buy shares in the business? Will it have huge impact? So it's very important that you understand all the dynamics, all the ins and outs of the problem that you are addressing. So just to give you an example of what sort of social enterprises exist, I mean, there's thousands throughout the world, maybe even hundreds of thousands, but I'd like to give you an example of a local social enterprise in South Africa. Some of you may have heard of the social enterprise, but for those who don't know it, RLabs is a South African award-winning non-profit company. They started in Bridgetown, the Cape Flats in Cape Town, in 2009. And if you visit them today, they are still in the very same building that they started in 2009, but they employ over 120 people, and they have different departments. They have different chapters of RLabs in 23 countries, and they have served more than 15 million people. And they started out as they are a social enterprise just like yours. The main aim of RLabs was really to create an environment. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the Cape Flats, but it's an area that is known for violence, for poverty, unemployment, gangsterism. And the founder of RLabs, Marlon Parker, he really wanted to do something about the desperation that he saw and the lack of future perspective that he saw with the people and amongst the people of his community. The mission of RLabs is really to create environments and systems where people are impacted, where they feel empowered and they are transformed because they become part of, let's say, normal society, because they have hope, because they've been exposed to technology, they've been trained, and they understand how to make an impact for the rest of the world, but also to take care of their families. In the previous slide, and I'm just going to go back to that, I spoke about the problem statement. So if we go to RLabs, the case study, what's important to know is that the problem statement that or the problems that they identified in their community were problems such as violence, addiction, a low literacy level, so people didn't finish school, unplanned pregnancies, unemployment, and again, I say no future perspective. So Marlon and his team identified that as the biggest problem that they needed to face. As you can read, RLabs is very big now. I said they employed 120 people. That's only in Cape Town, but with all the different departments that they have across the world, there's many more people that they employ. And from starting out as this community center of giving people hope, taking people in and giving them a sense of future perspective, they've developed many other services since then. And I'd like to share one in particular with you. If you have a chance, I'd like you to go and click on the presentation. It will take you through a little promotional clip of Alan. Alan is the founder or the CEO of Zlato. And Zlato is a digital currency that RLabs has developed. Basically, what Zlato does is it rewards community members for displaying positive behavior. So for example, if you follow an RLabs course online, you earn Zlato currency, Zlato points. If you maybe help a neighbor, if you participate in a survey, it can be any act of good that you are doing and that you can prove you've done and that your peers rate you in, and you earn Zlato currency. And with this Zlato currency, you can actually go to any ShopRite within the country. You can go to Clicks, you can buy data. There's all sorts of services that you can claim your Zlato points for food vouchers, for personal hygiene products, to buy bus tickets, to buy data. So all of the good that you do is rewarded and helps you to not only make money, but to take care of your family and make the world a better place in the process. After you've described and you're very sure about what your problem is, it's time to tell the world about your solution. So what does this look like? Let's just go back to those steps. You've identified a problem. You've really researched your problem and understand how big it is and who it impacts and where it happens. And now you're coming to the solution. When you create your solution, it's very important, again, to mention what the root cause of the problem is and what solution you are proposing to address this problem. You also want to talk about why your solution is effective. And you also want to tell the listener why your solution is better than the other ones around. So for example, we did the analysis and we spoke about the root cause problems that our labs encountered in their community, which was addiction, unemployment, gangsterism, violence, low literacy level. And what they did was come up their solutions. They offer their solutions through practices such as training, so community members can go and get digital literacy. They can learn how to use a computer, but they could also learn how to develop software and how to code. They can learn how to do market research. They can learn how to design. So the RLab solution is very much presented through education and offering people training ability so that they can learn new skills and they can actually go on to employ themselves. Once you've described your solution, you're going to tell the world what your vision is. So if you were in charge and if you got to sell your solution, you got to implement it, what exact problem would you solve and what would the world look like? And it's very important here that the listeners understand that they see your vision. So you want your vision to be bold and ambitious. You don't want to solve a tiny problem. You want to solve a problem that's going to have huge impact. Also make sure that your vision is simple. The vision could be, we want to decrease the number of teenage pregnancies, or we want more matriculants to pass every year, or we want to decrease literacy problems amongst prisoners. I don't know what problem you're solving. It could be in the case of the food incubation that you want to feed more people, or you want to teach people how to grow food so that they can take care of themselves. But make sure that your vision is short, it's catchy, and it's something someone's going to remember. After you've told the audience your vision, you're going to tell them about your mission statement. And what's important about your mission statement is to remember that your mission is all about the doing. You are now going to describe how you're going to go about, what actions are you going to undertake to make sure that you can achieve that vision. So, for example, you will state, we will achieve X. So you will say what is the impact that you want to achieve by doing Y. You're going to tell the audience the action you're going to undertake to reach that outcome. So just remember that your mission really builds upon your vision, and your vision is based on the analysis of the problem that you've done. Now, the most difficult part is often to describe your business model. Whether you're in social business or for-profit business, you'll often hear people ask, what is your business model? And your business model is actually something very, very simple. Your business model describes how you deliver value. So this could be through products you create, but it could also be through a service you offer. And let me give you an example. A social enterprise, which most of you are, sells products or services to very many different customers. A traditional charity relies on donations. So they rely on funders to pay for them to be able to offer a delivery or to be able to manufacture their goods. But if you have a sustainable business model, you want to try and offer value that people will pay for. So again, in short, A business model describes the rationale in which a business creates, generates, and delivers value. This value could be economic value, it could be social value, it could be environmental, cultural, any other kind of value, but it is something that people would want. In the case of our labs, what you see is what they've developed as a business model is saying is we will create impact in our communities, and we will do that through offering training. And for example, the training could be in coding. Well, actually, they do offer coding. And what you now see is that the social enterprise R Labs has actually opened up a for-profit business whereby they do a lot of software development, and these are all people that come from the community. So they're now not only reliant anymore on donations, but they've actually found a business model that works, because people will need, technology is here to stay. So people need apps developed, and they've trained their people so that they can actually do that. In the social business, it's very important to be able to not only describe to your clients, but also to donors or people who want to invest in your business, what the impact is of the work that you are doing. It's very important to be able to tell the world what is the impact of your solution. So I'm just going to give you a very simple example, but this is basically how you would want to break it down for yourself. So first of all, we talk about your venture, so your social business. What is it exactly? In my case, I give the example of we produce face masks. You then want to talk about what is the output. So the output would be, in our case, that we develop, let's say, 10,000 face masks a month. And the outcome of our work is that there is a reduction of COVID-19 infections because more people have access to masks. And at the same time, we've also created micro jobs because people earn while making masks. The impact of our venture, so the impact of our social business, is that now health is improved in high density, low income areas, otherwise known as township areas. What's very important is when you're investing to a social investor or an impact investor, that it's very important that you let them know that you know how to measure the impact of your business. And then once you've described your business model, you understand what the impact is. What's very important in your business model is to think about these 4 key. There's actually more elements, but the most important ones is to be able to describe who your customers are. So who is buying from you? Are you selling to a business, B2B, or are you selling to a company, to a client, business to customer? If you're selling B2B, that means you can sell in greater volumes. If you're selling to customers, in smaller volumes, but if you're selling to customers, it means you need to have way more support to reach more people. You also want to be able to describe your product very, very succinctly, very, very briefly, and be very clear about, are you offering training? Are you offering manufacturing? Are you offering services that people can purchase from you? The next part that you need to figure out is the delivery. So how do people access the service or product that you produce or that you deliver? Who are your suppliers? How do you distribute this product? Do you do this through door-to-door sales? Do you do this online? Do you have an e-commerce platform? Do you do this in a shop? How do people get hold of your product or your service? And last, but certainly not least, is your pricing. If it's a business-to-business model, you're going to look at how can we negotiate price points. And sorry, we've written pros there, but that should be price. And if you're selling to customers, you'd want to talk about what sort of payment model are you using? So do people pay cash or can they pay online? How effortless is it for them to purchase or make use of your service? After you've had a good understanding of what the key features of your business model is, it's important to look at, to conduct a competitor analysis. Now, in social business, people don't like to talk about competition because we're all about collaboration, right? But it would also be foolish not to recognize that we are not the only one who offers specific services that we do. So it is important to know what your peers are offering, and it's important to identify what their strengths are and whether you need to maybe improve some aspects of your social business. And by evaluating these strengths and weaknesses, it actually really helps you identify what your unique value proposition is. So what is it that Ellen does actually that Mark or that Ntux or that Louis doesn't do? Why would people buy from me, buy my solution, and not from someone else or the competition or maybe a peer? And then you want to be able to tell the audience how you're going to get this product, the service of yours to market. So a lot of people say in pitch decks, we'll use social media marketing. We'll have TV adverts. We'll do radio adverts. It's important that you know that whatever channel or platform you choose, that you know exactly which radio station it's going to be, which programs. If you're using social media, you need to make sure that if you're selling something that people are only interested in, maybe through LinkedIn, that spending a lot of money on a Facebook marketing campaign is not going to help. So it's very important that you understand, now that I've got this service of product, how do I let other people know what exactly our business does? And then, very, very important, the financial model. And it's something that most of us feel uncomfortable talking about because we're so busy doing good and we so desperately want to change our communities, or we're just so busy trying to run our business that we forget about the finances. But very simply, what your financial model is and what you need to think about are things such as how many customers will you reach? If you can only sell 10 products, you need to ask yourself how feasible that is. You need to look at, okay, with all the people that I'm selling to in my area, how much money do I think I could make, and how much money would it cost me to make that money? If you're asking for external funding, then you need to be able to tell investors how much funding you need, what you will use it for, and what sort of financial return they can expect. In social businesses, there's usually not a financial return expected, but investors do want to know how much social impact will you create with the money that we invest in your business. So your finances are important. And then it's very important to talk about the team. Even if you're a one-man or one-woman show, it's important to then list maybe other startups that you're working with, or contacts that you have within a community, associates that you may work with. It's very important to talk about the skills and experience, because investors know that it's very difficult for one person to solve a huge problem. They also want to know that you have the right skills, or you have surrounded yourself with the right people to be able to deliver the solution. If you have any milestones, maybe you started selling 10 bushes of spinach a day, bunches of spinach a day, and with the work that you've done, you're now able to sell 1,000 a day. So if you have any success story, any progress that you've made, please feel free to, or not feel free, you should tell investors. And lastly, you want to finish your pitch with a call to action. And the call to action can be, this is what we're doing, help us change communities, feed communities, build better businesses. So it could be to get strategic input, partnerships, sponsorships, but it could also be a very clear financial request that you have. And of course, we always end with a thank you, and preferably also your contact details. I hope this has been of help to you. We can always support you if you have any questions, But I wish you all the best in compiling your pitch deck, and I look forward to your pitch on Saturday. Thank you.